You've been through the fire. You felt the weight of the world pressing down on you. You've had moments where getting out of bed felt like it was an achievement. And maybe right now you don't see the way forward. But what you need to understand is you are not powerless. Yes, life has thrown obstacles your way. Yes, some of it wasn't fair. But waiting for the world to change in your favor, well, that's not the answer. Because you are stronger than you think. And right now, at this moment, you have the power to choose. You can let your circumstances hold you down, or you can rise up. You can keep waiting for the perfect conditions, or you can start where you are. You can keep telling yourself you're stuck, or you can take one small step forward right now. Everyone has had to overcome something. Your circumstances, although very painful, are not unique. And in fact, there are plenty of success stories of people who've overcome much worse than where you are right now. You may feel like you're being singled out or even punished in some ways. Believe me, I've been there too. Like, why does this keep happening to me? Or why can't I catch a break? But the truth is, things don't change until you do. We've all heard it, and I've said it before. If you want more, you have to do more. And if you want things to change, then you have to change. You don't need to be fearless. You don't even need to be confident. You just need to make a decision that today is the day you stop surrendering your power to everything that's happened to you and start taking it back. Struggle is not your enemy. Struggle is your training ground. Every time you push through, every time you refuse to quit, and every time you silence that voice in your head telling you that you're not good enough, you get stronger. You've survived your worst days. That means you're built for this. So no more waiting. No more hoping someone else saves you. No more thinking you're too broken to change. The past is done. Whatever happens next is up to you. You don't need to know every step of the way. You just need to take the first one. Maybe that's getting out of bed and deciding that today will be different. Maybe it's choosing to fight back against that negative voice in your head. Maybe it's finally refusing to believe the lie that you're stuck where you are. Whatever it is, choose now. Because you're not hopeless. You're not defeated. You're rising. And one day you'll look back on this moment, the moment you took back control, and realize it was the turning point. The day when everything changed. Unfortunately, most times there are no warnings before your world as you know it begins to shatter. One moment everything seems intact, and the next, the pieces are scattered at your feet. It's heartbreak, failure, loss. They come out of nowhere, leaving us fractured, unsure if we'll ever feel whole again. But your brokenness isn't the end of your story. What if I told you that these moments can become your greatest masterpiece? There's an ancient art in Japan called kintsugi. Kintsugi, which means golden joinery, is an art form that repairs broken pottery by filling the cracks with a lacquer mixed with powdered gold. So instead of hiding the flaws, it celebrates them. The breaks become part of the story, transformed into something more beautiful than before. This philosophy teaches us a powerful truth. We are not meant to be discarded when life breaks us. We are meant to be rebuilt, stronger and more valuable than ever. Think about the hardships you faced, the disappointments, the betrayals, the moments where you questioned your worth. Now, it's easy to believe that these cracks make you less, that they diminish your value. But Kintsugi tells us something different. It tells us that our scars don't make us weak. They make us unique. They don't take away from our beauty, they add to it. They are proof that we've survived, and that we've endured, and that we're still standing. The world often tells us to conceal our pain, to cover up our struggles, and to present a version of ourselves that looks untouched by hardship. But real strength doesn't come from appearing perfect. It comes from embracing every part of our journey. It's the smooth and the jagged, the triumphs and the setbacks. Just like a Kintsugi bowl, we are made whole again, not by erasing the past, but by highlighting the resilience it took to overcome it. Rebuilding after a setback isn't easy. It takes time, it takes patience, and most of all, it takes a willingness to see value in what remains. You might be tempted to throw in the towel, to believe that the damage is beyond repair. But you are not beyond repair. You are not broken beyond hope. Every crack is an opportunity for transformation. It's a chance to turn pain into power and struggle into strength. So wear your scars with pride. Let them tell a story of survival, of growth, of undeniable resilience. You are not less because of what you've been through. You are more. You are more wise. You are more compassionate. You are more unshakable. The beauty of Kintsugi is not in the gold that fills the cracks, but in the lesson that nothing and no one is ever truly beyond restoration. You are a masterpiece in the making. Let your golden seams shine. The God's honest truth is that people are going to give up on you. It's not fair, but it's fact. Friends are going to drift away. Mentors may move on. And the people you thought would stand by your side might turn their backs when the road gets tough. But the great thing is, you don't need everyone to believe in you. You only need one person, and that person is you. It doesn't matter how many people doubt you. It doesn't matter if the world turns its back. If you have the courage to look in the mirror and say, I believe in myself, then nothing, absolutely nothing can stop you. Because belief is power. Belief is the one thing that turns pain into fuel. Life will bring you pain. It will challenge you. It will put obstacles in your path and ask you, what are you going to do now? That's the moment that defines you. That's the moment when you have two choices. Give up or get up. It sounds simple, but make no mistake, it's hard. It's hard to stand when your legs feel weak. It's hard to rise when the weight of the world is pressing down on you. It's hard to keep moving when the voices in your head are louder than the cheers of the crowd. But those are the moments where greatness is born. Every time you choose to get up, you are writing your story. You are showing yourself what you're made of. You are proving that no setback, no disappointment, no rejection is stronger than your will to rise. People might have given up on you, but they don't decide your destiny. You do. And when you feel like quitting, when the pain feels too big and the dreams feel too far, I want you to remember that pain is not your enemy. Pain is your fuel. Every hurt, every no that you encounter, every failure, it's all energy. Use it. Let it light a fire within you. When they say you can't, let that push you harder. When the door closes, let that drive you to build your own. When you fall, get back up with the kind of force that makes the world take notice. Because this is your life. This is your dream. And no one, no doubter, no critic, no quitter gets to take that from you. So get up every day, even when it's hard. You know what? Especially when it's hard. Get up for the person you're becoming. Get up for the dream you refuse to let die. Get up because you owe it to yourself to see how far you can go. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You don't need the world to believe in you. All you need is you. So when the pain comes, when the odds feel stacked against you, remember, you've only got two choices. Give up or get up. And I know which one you'll choose, because one day, the people who gave up on you will say, I never saw it coming. And you'll say, that's because you weren't looking. There's a big difference between existing and living. Existing is going through the motions. It's waking up, going to work, doing what's expected of you, and then repeating the cycle the next day. It's staying in your comfort zone, playing it safe, and never stepping outside of the boundaries you've created for yourself. And sure, might feel secure, maybe even comfortable, but is that really living? Living, on the other hand, requires something more. It requires that we take risks, that we step outside of the familiar and into the unknown. Living means risking failure, risking pain, and risking loss. But those risks, they're what make life worth living. They're what gives life its meaning, its color, and its richness. Too many of us spend our lives avoiding risk, afraid of what might go wrong. We think, what if I fail? What if I get hurt? What if I lose? And yes, those things might happen, but let me ask you this. What if you succeed? What if you grow? What if you experience more joy than you ever thought possible? What if, by taking that leap, you discover something about yourself that you never would have known if you'd stayed in your safe little bubble? Risk is a necessity for living. It's a doorway to everything you want in life. And when we avoid it, when we choose the easy path, the one that keeps us comfortable, we're not truly living, we're just existing. We're breathing, but we're not really alive. It's time to evaluate your life and be honest with yourself. Are you living, or are you just existing? Are you taking risks, or are you playing it safe? Are you stepping into the unknown, or are you staying in the same familiar routines, never challenging yourself to grow? It's easy to exist. It's easy to stay where you are, to do what's comfortable, and to avoid anything that might bring discomfort or pain. But existing is not why we're here. We're here to live, to experience the highs and the lows, the wins and the losses, the joy and the pain, because all of it, every single part of it, is what makes life beautiful. You can't have the rewards of life without the risks. You can't know the thrill of success without first risking failure. You can't experience true love without risking heartache. You can't grow into the person you're meant to be without risking the discomfort of change. And yes, I know risk is scary. But living fully means being willing to face that fear and to step into it anyways. It means saying, I might fail, I might fall, I might lose, but I'd rather try and fail than never to try at all. Because even in failure, there's growth. Even in pain, there's learning. And even in loss, there's wisdom. Stop existing. Start living. Take that risk you've been avoiding. Step into the unknown. Dare to fail. Dare to feel. Dare to experience everything life has to offer. Because that's where the magic happens. That's where you'll find the life you've been searching for. Because at the end of the day, you'll never regret the risks you took. But you will regret the chances you never gave yourself. What's your morning routine? Now, it's something that might seem small, but let me tell you, how you start your day can have a huge impact on everything that follows. Imagine this, you wake up, hit the snooze button a few times, then you rush through the morning in a panic. You're already behind, stressed and unfocused. Does that sound familiar? Now imagine waking up with intention. You have a plan. You know what's important, and you start your day on your terms. That's the difference a morning routine makes. Why does it matter so much? Because the way you spend those first few hours sets the tone for the entire day. It's like the foundation of a house. If it's strong, everything else has a solid base to stand on. If it's shaky, the whole day feels like it could fall apart. But more than that, a morning routine is a form of self-discipline. And discipline leads to success. When you choose to take control of your morning, you're choosing to take control of your life. You're telling yourself, I'm in charge of my day, not the other way around. So how can you create a morning routine that sets you up for success? Here's a few simple but powerful tools that you can use starting right away. First, wake up early. This one might sound obvious, but it's critical. Waking up even 30 minutes earlier than usual can make a big difference. It gives you time to breathe, plan, and focus before the world starts demanding things from you. You're creating space to set your mind right. Second, move your body. You don't need to run a marathon, but get your body moving, whether it's stretching, yoga, a quick workout, or even a walk. Getting your blood flowing will wake you up and energize you. Physical movement is a great way to clear your mind and get yourself in a positive state. Third, try some mindfulness or a quick meditation. Take a few minutes to do a self-check-in. It doesn't have to be long, just 5-10 minutes of focusing on your breathing or centering your thoughts can make a huge difference. This will help you set up the day with clarity and intention rather than letting the chaos of the world control your mind. Number 4, set your priorities. Plan out your top 3 priorities for the day, or what I call the must-do list. What are the things you must accomplish? When you have a clear focus, you're far more likely to be productive and stay on track. So write them down and commit to getting them done. Number 5, fuel your body and mind. Feed your body with nutritious food and feed your mind with something positive, whether it's reading a chapter from a book, listening to a podcast, or simply thinking of a few things you're grateful for. Start the day with something that fuels you, both physically and mentally. No, I'm not saying you need to do all of these things every single morning. The key is to create a routine that works for you. Something that gets you into the right mindset. It gives you energy and it helps you focus on what matters most. Remember, success doesn't happen by accident. It happens through consistent action, and that action starts the moment you wake up. If you want to be productive, if you want to move forward in life, it starts with how you choose to begin each day. So take control of your mornings. Build a routine that empowers you. Don't leave your day up to chance. Start strong and you'll finish strong. You don't need motivation. What you lack is discipline. Motivation is this wavering sense of energy that comes and goes like the winds. Some mornings you're inspired, and other mornings you're not. So what, you're gonna wait for the right feeling to hit you before you get going? You're gonna wait for the energy to move you before you tackle the day? You're doing it all wrong. You're putting the cart before the horse. You're thinking that if I'm motivated, then I'll accomplish great things. So let me focus on the emotion and then I'll get moving. But you can't count on that motivation to be there consistently. What you need is discipline. See, discipline doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care if you had a bad night, a bad week, or even a bad month. Discipline says, regardless of my feelings, regardless of my results, I'm sticking to the plan. I'm going to keep with the must-dos of my life, because if I don't, then I'll never get what I truly want. Discipline is doing the little things on a daily basis, whether you feel like it or not. It doesn't ask for motivation. It's simply making daily decisions in spite of the circumstances, very often going against your mood or energy level. Discipline is putting off the short-term pain for the long-term gain. Discipline is taking on the difficult now to avoid the pain of regret later. You see, you'll never regret doing more than what is required. You'll never regret putting in the extra effort. You're not going to wake up months or years from now and say, thank goodness I hit that snooze alarm. Or thank goodness I skipped all those workouts. Or I put off all those difficult conversations. You'll only regret the things you didn't do. But unfortunately, that feeling of regret only appears after the moment has passed. After enough time has gone on where you look back and you see that nothing's changed. Discipline says, let's not let the moment pass. It understands that it's the actions of today that will affect my tomorrow. So stop waiting for motivation and start embracing discipline. Like the quote says, if you think the price of winning is too high, wait until you get the bill for regret. What is required for success is action. It's not the emotional inspiration that motivation brings us. But I promise you this, if you want to bring the emotional energy into you, then take the actions and the feelings will start to develop. Like I say to my clients, if you're not inspired to go to the gym, tell you what, just go for 5 minutes. If you're not inspired to read that book, just commit to reading for 5 minutes. And guess what happens? That 5 minutes gets the momentum going. Suddenly my uninspired state begins to make a shift. The 5 minutes turns into 10, 20, or 30, and before you know it, the workout is complete, or that chapter has been finished. It wasn't that the motivation got me started, it was the actions. My discipline brought about the motivation. Let me ask you this. Was there ever a workout you regret doing? Hardly. Was there ever a regret for not doing the workout? More likely. So there you have it. You don't need motivation. You just need discipline. It's better to aim high and miss than to aim low and hit. That's a famous quote I use regularly with my clients. It's usually brought up when we're talking about setting goals as part of my private coaching. But it's an interesting introspect into one's psyche. Am I comfortable to aim high and miss, or would I rather aim low and hit? What's going to make me feel better? For most people, the idea of making what might seem unreasonable targets, aiming high, it's an exercise in futility. Why bother set goals so beyond the norm that they seem impossible to hit? Now, I should mention that most of my clients are aspiring athletes, most dreaming of playing at the professional levels. And when we begin this exercise, although they'd love to play at the highest level, there's a resistance. There's a certain feeling of discomfort in even talking about it or setting that goal. Me, play professional? That'd be nice, but is it realistic? And here we see your belief system exposed, or rather your limiting beliefs that block you from seeing your potential. How you see yourself and your abilities is revealed with this simple task. We're all guided by our beliefs and values. If I don't believe I can achieve something, I'm not even going to bother starting the process. What would be the point? So to give myself some comfort, what I'll do is I'll lower the bar. I'll aim low and hopefully hit some targets to make me feel good, feel like I'm accomplishing things. And you might say as the listener, what's the problem with that? Shouldn't I want to succeed on smaller goals and maybe go from there? See what happens. And I'd say, well, okay, there's a rational argument to be had to make realistic goals. Okay. But here's where I'm going with this. I say make the goals big, aim high. Expand your belief system right from the get-go. Get uncomfortable. When talking to my clients, I'll explain that there are X number of jobs at the professional level. Why not you? Why not go for it? Aim high. Get out from under your limiting belief and see things differently. See your potential as something powerful. Someone's going to hold those jobs. Why not you? How the professionals got those jobs? Well, it started with their belief that they could achieve it. They believed and then they got to work and they never stopped. Now, when you start the journey, you're going to hit the smaller goals anyways. They'll validate your belief that you can or are moving incrementally towards the top. I say, let's just get this thing started properly. If we're using the GPS in your car or on your phone, we don't set destinations every mile. What we do is we set the final destination. Ultimately, where do I really want to go? We're going to hit those miles along the way, but they're only indicators that we're on the right path. It's better to aim high and miss. Yes, I might not make the professional level. Maybe it was too unrealistic for my talents or skills, but I'll tell you this, I might come close. And in the meantime, I'm living a life by design. I'm working every day for a goal. I have purpose. I'm going after what few even dream to chase. And if I come up short, I won't have any regrets. I got closer than most people simply because I chose to aim high. Or think about it like this. Let's say you've got darts in your hand and the board is right in front of you. I'm going to ask you to aim for the bullseye. Now throw. Did you hit it? Maybe. But even if you didn't, did you get close? If you're not aiming for the bullseye, then anywhere on the board will do. Now, will that bring you joy? I doubt it. I'd rather aim high. Maybe I hit. Maybe I don't. But at least I took my shot. It's early morning. The alarm goes off, and now you're faced with your first decision of the day. Do I answer the bell and rise, or do I hit the snooze and pull the covers up to get those few precious minutes of sleep? I think depending on how the night went, you may have different responses on different mornings. If you had a good night's sleep, well, then maybe you hop out of bed right away and get right to things. But a poor night's sleep? Well, I think we've all been there too. But I'd like to take a deeper dive into this daily occurrence and see how this seemingly insignificant moment might be more powerful than you think. I'm bringing this up because I had a call with a client recently and we happened to talk about this exact subject. One of the main characteristics of successful people is their ability to raise their standards, especially when it comes to holding themselves accountable. I asked my client to imagine that he and a friend had made plans to meet each day at noon. On the first day, they met as planned, right on time. Day 2, the friend was 10 minutes late. Day 3, back on schedule. Day 4, late again, and this pattern continued throughout the first week and into the second. Some days they met on time, the others, the friend was late. I asked him how it felt when the friend showed up late. Did it bother you? And he said, yes. We made plans, I was there, but I couldn't count on my buddy to show. That irritated me. So I said to him, so when you agree to make a plan, you expect your friend to follow through, right? And he said, yes. And I said, when you decide to set the alarm for a certain time, do you always show up for yourself? See, this is what we don't understand. We hold others to standards, but we don't hold ourselves to those same standards. We expect others to follow through on plans, but we don't always follow through when it's just us. Integrity has been described as doing what is right even when no one is looking. Now you may say, Adam, look, it's only a few extra minutes of rest. What's the big deal? And I'd say in the grander scheme of things, maybe it's not such a big deal. However, what this seemingly minute decision does is it sets the standard for the day. It's answering the first question, will I do what I say I'm going to do, or will I cut myself some slack? Because I dare say, if you cut yourself some slack on the small things, how the heck are you going to handle the big things? Sleep in? Sure, just this once. But you know you'll do it again. Skip a workout? Sure, just this once. But you know you'll do it again. Have that bowl of ice cream? Sure. And you see my point. I cut myself a little slack here, but you know it'll trickle into other things. If you expect others to meet standards, you'd better be prepared to meet them yourself. And because you're with yourself 24/7, you are the one that needs to make it happen, to hold yourself accountable. That's called integrity. When you say you're going to do something, you'd better do it. Successful people know in order to achieve, you must first raise your standards and then hold yourself accountable. Why? Because you are the most important person in your life.